We'll start at 7:30, but I've started screen sharing, so
Sir, I'm live now.
yeah, good.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Yes, Sudarshan.
Hi, good evening. 7:30, maybe we can wait a little bit and then start.
So we can start in few minutes, I think. Just if the others are there, like 146 attendees. Sudarshan, can we start? I think maybe you can check with others or Rishikesh.
I think George should probably join.
George, and I think Preeta is also supposed to join, right?
I'll call George. So Kundu, if you can call Preeta.
Yeah, George is trying to join, but I asked him to join as an attendance, and then it can be promoted, it can be changed to participants or panelist. So he's
Okay.
trying to join. Let me call him again. I'll call him.
I'll check with Professor Pant.
I think let's get going.
Let's get going.
Yeah. I think you are again little faint in your voice.
Okay. Maybe Rishikesh, you can start the proceedings.
Yes, yeah. Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome to the open house, which is scheduled for the second year UG students of IIT Bombay. We are here to address the issues and the questions that parents and the students, the Sophomore students have been emailing us about. So it is about the campus reboot. So there have been a lot of emails and calls that have come our way regarding the campus reboot, and we would be going over certain agenda points one by one, which would tell you about the current campus scenario and also about the reboot plans that we have for the UG Sophomore students. And then we'll also go over the COVID guidelines and the quarantine facilities that we have at IIT Bombay. And post that, after all the agenda items are covered, we would open the Q&A section for questions and issues that you would like to get our answers from. So yeah, over to Professor Sudarshan. Thank you.
Start with introduction from our director, Professor Subhashit.
Thank you, Professor Sudarshan. Good evening to all our second year students and also to their parents, their guardians and friends. Let me give a, first of all, let me say that we have not met, okay, at least physically. This is when the students are here, we do get to see them. Okay, most of these students that are second year now, okay, didn't get a chance to come to the campus. Okay. As you know that by March 2020, when it happened, we had to shut down the campus within a few days' notice. And since then, because of the pandemic, it has been a constant fight by, for all of us, not only for IIT Bombay, but it's also the entire nation, to see that how much of life can be actually brought into the entire process without disturbing too much. Okay, because we have our, hard kind of, I think, issues that needed to be taken care of. So with that in view, IIT Bombay from day one have been very, very active in terms of making sure, number one, the campus is safe for the students and the staff and the faculty members, because as you know, there are a lot of people who live in this campus. And ideally, we expect all of you to be here in the campus, staying in this here in our hostels, right? That's the second part is on the academic side. So we also have, like, the main reason you are here is basically to carry out a certain degree programs. For you particularly, it's an undergraduate program, BTech, BDes, BS, whatever program you are in. You are supposed to be doing regular physical classes, learn from the teachers, and then back into your hostels and others where you can learn from your own friends. You make friends, you also enjoy your life. That has been the normal course of life in IIT Bombay. Unfortunately, because of you are not here, we had to move everything online, which is of course true for most of the academic institutions all over India, as well as probably all over the world. And the key focus that IIT Bombay, we tried to do in the entire administration, as well as all our faculty members here, is to make sure that we minimize the uncertainty that COVID has brought in this particular pandemic. We tried to ensure that our students try to graduate in time so that there is no loss of any academic year. So for your case, you started your academic program a little late. First year, I think you started late. Even this year also it's happening, because that's how the entire entrance exam got delayed. So there's very little we could do. But now that you are in the second year, as you know, that you are in sync with the calendar for the rest of the students that normally we have at IIT. Okay, so we expect that there will be no delay unless things turn for any worse in the particular this pandemic. You will graduate in time, okay, and there will be no loss of any kind of in your academic calendar, so that you can plan the way all previous year students have been able to do their journey through IIT Bombay. Now, back to the current time, we realize now the situation has improved. Of course, in between there is a little bit of anxiety in many, in everybody's mind. What is this Omicron and others kind of things is there. Nonetheless, we realize that possibly we can slowly open it up. And when we say that, we must say that earlier we opened it up for those who are the senior levels of the students, and also those who are the researchers. So the institute has been open for quite some time. at least a year for the PhD students, then the final year MTech students. Then we allowed third and fourth year students and certain set of BTech students who had difficulty in doing online education at different places. So they have been here, they have been accommodated. But the key reason, as you know, that when you stay in the hostel, it's not like at home. You will be mixing with large set of students. There will be common places, and you will not be able to provide all kind of segregation that currently this requires, the social distancing. So the corresponding dean of students appears along with the COVID task force. Okay, the students' body themselves, those who have been part of the volunteer, they had a very, very strict discipline enforced on the students who have been staying in the hostel. And because of that, thanks to that, the number of cases among the students, have been very, very minimal, and we could contain any kind of spread of the disease among the students by appropriately planning. And now that when we open it up, right? So as you see, there will be more number of students coming in. Many of the parents have been, number one, they have been asking when can our, the kids can come back, as well as some of them are worried that what would be the COVID related, the issues that how we are handling. So some of you had a lot of questions. So we thought it'd be better that we meet here online here, okay, and then try to address whatever the concerns you have, whatever our concerns are, so that when you put your kids back into the campus, you send them. So they have to follow certain strict disciplines. So we expect that thing to happen. We also make sure that, this is completely voluntary from your part, because the way we plan our semester, which is the starting from, let's say, 1st of January, is that the idea is that it will be a hybrid mode, okay, because the nation is still under the pandemic. So if somebody feels that I'll be better off staying at home and I do not want to take chance, or certain kind of other comorbidities or other things is there, they're most welcome to stay here, but we'll ensure that their academic program also continues the way without getting disturbed. But at the same time, those who would be in the campus, okay, we'll have to accommodate them. What would be the process, policies, others? We have our other colleagues, they will explain in full details. But please be, sure that, we need the consent of the parents for the students to come back here. Your arrival here will be completely voluntary, because you know that when you are coming and you will be in a company of many students, and we hope all of you will actually follow the COVID protocols, but still there is a possibility that things could spread. So you should be aware of all these things, okay? You'd have to know that, the students have to share accommodation. So all of you would be paired up in in a room for 2 or 3 students, because of the constraint that we have in terms of accommodation. And because of that, it necessitates that you, before you arrive here and plan your journey for the next semester here, you should be aware of all these things. Is that okay? And we hope that after that, when you come here, we can actually have the IIT life that you have been missing. You'll be able to get back to that. Okay, but of course, it's a give and take when you are here. You must ensure that we follow all the disciplines that you'll be told to you, and also maybe if the situation demands, certain other things will also be put forward depending on what the the state or the city government puts it on place. So I'll stop here. I'll request Professor Sudarshan, our Deputy Director, to take it up and explain the whole thing.
Thank you, Professor Subhashish Dadri. Let me just put up the document which I've created so that you can read it as I speak about it. Just give me 1 second.
Professor Sudarshan, your volume is very low.
Okay, I'll speak louder. There seems to be some issue. I hope you can see my screen now. Can you hear me clearly now?
We can, but be closer to the mic because your volume is a little low somehow. Yeah.
Today we have with us, in addition to me and Professor Chaudhary, we have Dean of Student Affairs and Professor Kundu, Sapnendu Kundu, and our Associate Dean Student Affairs, Professor George Matthew. These are the people who provide you the hostels and take care of all your needs. So they are very important people in your lives. We also have Professor Preeta Pant, who is Associate Dean Academic Programs. In addition to dealing with all the academic rules and so on, she has also been in charge of the campus reboot since the last 1.5 years. And she is basically figured out when who can return and safety issues and so on, in conjunction with the COVID task force, in which your dean, student affairs, associate dean, and a large number of other faculty members and doctors and others are part of the task force. So many of these decisions on when we can do things have been decided by the task force. We also have student representatives here. Rishikesh Bhaviskar is here. He started the show. I think 1 or 2 other students are also there. Rishikesh will introduce them. We also have other student members, your GSEC Hostel Affairs, GSEC PG are also on the COVID task force. So all these decisions on when things can take place, what are the risks, and is it okay to do things, are all discussed in the task force with all these people. So today, the key topics which we will cover, I'll talk about a bit about vaccination and quarantine requirements, hostel and room sharing, Omicron, some COVID-related restrictions, classes in general. So this is just a high-level view. And then we will open it up to questions. I think some questions have already been sent to the student reps. The students will basically put up the questions. You can type it in the Q&A box on WebEx. If you're on YouTube Live, I don't know if the students are monitoring the chat there. Usually there's a lot of stuff going on there, but maybe that can also be used for asking questions. Okay, so that is the brief overview. Let me start with vaccination quarantine requirements. So all of you are aware that vaccination is essentially what has kept us safe so far. The risk of severe COVID and so on are much less due to vaccination. And we believe that all of you who are in the second year should now be eligible for vaccination. So we expect all of you to have been fully vaccinated, or at least taken the first dose in case there was any delay in taking your first dose. So when you come here, we expect that. Now, there may be 1 or 2 cases where there are specific reasons why you couldn't get vaccinated. So in that case, we are not saying you should not come, but we do have stricter requirements for you. So in particular, when you arrive at IIT Bombay, if you're fully vaccinated, or if you have 1 dose of vaccine and you have a negative RT-PCR, which is done before your travel, you will soft quarantine in the hospital. What do you mean by soft quarantine? I'll come to that in just a second. Otherwise, if you are not fully vaccinated or have only 1, if you are not vaccinated or have 1 dose but not a negative RT-PCR, you will have to have 1 week of hard quarantine in a separate area. And then during the semester, there will be regular testing to keep people safe. So please avoid this option. Get vaccinated. We hope there won't be very many students in this second category. Then, what does soft and hard quarantine mean here? Soft quarantine is something which you will hear of more than once you're here. It means that you should not eat in the mess, go to physical class, or congregate with others in a way that could cause risk in case you get infected. But you can go to the mess to pick up food, although you can't eat in the mess. You can go to shops, you can move around campus and so on. Outdoor activities, all those are fine. So essentially, this is because we recognize there are certain things. For example, travel we have seen has a certain risk. It's not a high risk thing, but still a few people have fallen in after travel. So we want to minimize the risk of COVID spreading in hostels because as Professor Chaudhary said, there are a lot of students in the hostel. It's easy for COVID to spread amongst the students who are living together. So we want to minimize the risk of that happening. Hard quarantine, on the other hand, is stricter. So here you're confined to your room, except for using the bathroom and picking up food. Otherwise, you should not even go out of it. So we generally do this in case there is a high risk. For example, if somebody has COVID and there's a high risk contact, then we require hard quarantine. Of course, here for travel, we require 1 week hard quarantine if you're not vaccinated. For high risk contacts, there are somewhat longer quarantine. It's like 10 days of hard plus 4 days of soft quarantine. So these rules and so on, we'll share more details later. You don't have to remember it. But this is just to give you a picture that because of COVID, because there are contacts, there are times when you may have to quarantine even after you come, in addition to the quarantining just after you come. Now, to reduce risk of COVID spread, mask usage is mandated. Now, we are aware that in many parts of India, masks are viewed as purely voluntary. In IIT, we enforce it fairly strictly. There are fines, 100 rupees for the first offense, 500 rupees on the second offense, and further offenses. Our security staff do monitor, and every week we are finding a good number of students. So please be careful about this. Wear your mask. They are the simplest, cheapest, best way to keep COVID. Okay. Now, moving on to, I'm sure you have questions about this. We will take all the questions together after wrapping this up. Moving on to hostels, sharing of rooms, is like people staying together in a family. Two of you are in a room, it's like a family of two. Now, in the early days of COVID, the recommendation for hostels was that sharing should not happen. Later, the government allowed sharing. For us, the problem is that we do not have enough rooms for single occupancy. Even before COVID, we basically gave single occupancy only in the final year. After a variety of reasons, the students' strength increased sharply over multiple years. And right now, that increase is continuing in the sense that the graduating batches are smaller than the incoming batches. So the total number of students is increasing each year. We have built a few new hostels, but unfortunately, it's not enough. So sharing is going to continue till some more hostels are built, which is probably not going to complete while you're at IIT. It will happen only afterwards. So sharing is required, otherwise you cannot stay here. Of course, if you're not comfortable sharing, as Professor Chaudhary said, you can attend the semester online this semester. We may require you to come for end semester exams. We will update you closer to that point. Right now, we are keeping that decision open, but we may make it mandatory to come here for the end semester if COVID stays in low numbers and so on. Now, of course, in the last few weeks, there is this new variant Omicron, which has created a lot of confusion. We are not quite sure how Omicron will work out. Based on whatever we have seen, the reports we have got, it seems that it spreads a lot more, but it is relatively mild. So if it spreads a lot more, it might go through, a lot of students might get it, but luckily it doesn't seem to be serious. So especially in any case, students have not been severely affected by and large, even in earlier waves of COVID, although some people were affected. So we do not believe it will be a major risk if it happens. We hope it will not happen. And as long as Omicron does not cause serious illness, we do not anticipate having to ask students to return. Now, 2 years back in March, we had to ask everyone to return home. You know that. We hope that will not be required. But of course, this is subject to change. But as of now, we do not believe the risk of having to send students home is very high. That's why we are rebooting, allowing students to come back. Now, there are quite a few restrictions on students, and they were fairly severe. Till some time back, we did not allow our students to go out of campus. The students who are on campus stay on campus and do not interact with others. You're all familiar with the IPL and other cricket bubbles. We had our own IIT student bubble, which was going on for since around 1 year and 3 months or so back. More recently, as the number of cases in India, in Mumbai and so on have come down sharply, we have relaxed some of those restrictions. We allow students to go out. We do keep track of this by, you have to make some entries in a portal before you go out and so forth. So we want to keep track, but we are not restricting going out significantly anymore. However, this may change. If the number of COVID cases goes up, we may again introduce restrictions for going out. We may have to recreate a bubble on campus. Let's see how that goes. We hope it won't happen, but it may be required. There will be other COVID-related restrictions and so on. For example, if you fall ill, if you have fever, what do we do? Earlier, we would require that students go into hospital at a time when many students who were falling ill were also testing positive. Later, people who fell ill, we found almost all cases were negative. There are other illnesses. So right now, if somebody falls ill, they self-isolate in their own room. Now, of course, when there's a shared room, what does it mean for your roommate? They may have, you may move to a separate room and self-isolate in a separate room. But as long as the number of students who test positive after falling ill is low, we will continue the in-hostel self-isolation. So you should not go to the mess. You should not talk with other people. Keep your distance. Wear masks very carefully. And so that is the current policy. If the positive rate goes up, then we may have to isolate students in other areas, those who fall. Okay. The next topic is what about classes? So at this point, we have online/hybrid based on instructor choice. However, all instructors have been asked to provide at least 1 hour of contact for students who are on campus. COVID conditions permit. So we want you to attend. There are certain benefits of physically coming and asking questions and so on, which is a lot harder when it's online. You all know that online it's easy to join it, turn off your video, and go do something else. Okay, the chance for distraction is much higher. With the physical classes, this is a long way. So that's part of our reason. And the second part is that when students are in class and ask more questions, it makes for a much more interesting class, even for those students who are not physically in class. So this is what we have asked all our instructors. Now, what is that at least 1 hour? Could it be completely hybrid? We are leaving that to instructors. Some instructors may conduct 1 hour of tutorials per week in person. Some may conduct every single class in person, but with hybrid mode, so that those who are not on campus can still attend. So the classes will be webcast live, just as it's being done today for the completely online. Now, of course, this raises the question: what about COVID safety in classrooms? So first of all, when COVID first came out, all of us heard Amitabh Bachchan telling people to cover your nose when you cough and so on. But masks were not viewed as even mentioned initially, because that was the understanding of people at that time. But later on, people realized that COVID is airborne. Masks are important, but so is ventilation. And this is something which we in IIT have emphasized from probably summer of 2020 onwards. As soon as the fact that COVID is airborne was recognized, we insisted that messes are well ventilated. We installed exhaust fans in the mess. We have installed exhaust fans in classrooms. Even if the classroom is air conditioned, and most of our classrooms are air conditioned, we still put an exhaust fan so that there is fresh air coming. Even if it means a little bit of energy wastage, our goal is to keep people safe. There are certain classrooms which have what we call as ducted ACs. There, we will keep the door open and the fresh air will come in from the other end and keep the classroom well ventilated. So we have a ventilation committee which is looking into classroom safety, and they're coming up with guidelines and ensuring that these are followed. There will also be monitoring of the classrooms, CO2 level monitoring and so on, to ensure that the ventilation is sufficient. So all of this is being taken care of by the ventilation committee. Of course, even with all this, mask wearing is very, very important, especially when there are many people in a room like classroom. If you are found without a mask or mask below the nose, you can be ejected from the classroom and also fined. So please, if you attend classes, be sure to wear mask properly, cover your nose completely, don't let it slip. So that is it as far as the documentation I have here. At this point, I think we can open it up for questions. The questions will be answered by all the faculty who are here, as well as the student representatives. So I'll stop this presentation and we'll go over to questions. Rishikesh, you can handle the questions along with Krishna Raj.
Yes. So there was this one important question about most of them, like I've been trying to answer in chat, but one of these question is by Devashish that, so in the worst case of a minor outbreak of Omicron, what mechanisms are in place for quarantining, etc., considering that there is already a shortage of hostel rooms?
It will be in place quarantine in your room. That is the default. If there is an outbreak with a lot of people, when we had far fewer students on campus, we had the option of moving people to a separate hostel. But at this point, that is not an option. All the hostels will get used up. However, students who are symptomatic, we still keeping in reasonable number of hostel rooms that symptomatic students or those who test positive will move into those rooms. Now, of course, if there is a really large outbreak, that facility may also get swamped. But we hope that won't happen. As long as students follow the COVID guidelines, we hope there will be no wild spread. But that also means students have to follow. If cases go up, we will very strictly enforce the rules for preventing this. So even if you have answered questions on chat, please ask it because not all people can monitor chat.
Yes. There's one another question by Dr. Sanjay Shah. He's asking that how many students are allowed in a room. So I think this has already been covered, but so I think the current accommodation status would be around either 2 or 3 students per room for UG Sophomores.
Yeah, right now it's only 2.
Right now we have planned it only for 2 students.
Only 2 students.
But later, if it goes beyond that one, then probably we have to share 3 students may share the room. Right now it is 2 that is planned for the Sophomore. Yeah, Professor Sudarshan, please go ahead. You are not visible. Turn your Professor Sudarshan your video. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. So when we say 3 people to a room, it is a room designed for 2 students in which we may put 3 students. And when we say 2 students to a room, it may be a room designed for 2 students, or it may be a room designed for 1 student, but in which we are putting 2 people. But you will get your own bed and maybe a shared desk and so forth.
All right. The next question is, will student? Yeah, sorry. Should I go over to the next question?
Yes, go ahead. But just to extend the answer of the previous question about this one, so generally we have the hospital, and hospital is having 18 beds where we put always the positive patient inside. And if any student gets positive, he will be admitted to the hospital. And if the hospital gets full, there is after the hospital, there will be another requirement to go for an isolation. So we keep some of the rooms in the another hostel, which is isolated hostel, for keeping the students separate. Apart from that, for any floor, if one student gets positive, according to our Bombay municipality rule, we actually seal that floor. So no students till 7 days, they cannot go out. They would be they will be quarantined within their own room. So that is the rule that we are following at this moment.
Yes. Thank you. Coming on to the next question. So, will the students be put in the same? Will the students be put in same department and in same semester group in rooms, or will be mixed? So, example, third year EE semester students with the same batch or mixed with other group. So, if I reframe this question correctly, the person is trying to ask that if same department students would be paired up together, or would it be mixed on the basis of the arrival?
Yeah, so let me answer that.
George, please answer.
Yeah. So the student numbers are already paired up. The list is already ready for all the hostels. So they will be paired as per the department only. But 2 UG second year will be together, not the third year students. It's not a mixture of UG2 and UG3. It will be a UG2 sophomores only together, the same department. The hostel composition is we are going to use about 5 hostels, out of which 2 hostels are under renovation. So they will be shifted to other hostels. So the composition is about 200, 250 odd sophomores. The rest are third year and some amount of fourth year, final year students. So a mixture of second year, third year, and fourth year will be the composition of an hostel. So you always have an advisor like senior students along with you. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for the answer, sir. Going on to the next question. I'm under 18, so I'm not vaccinated. Then what will happen with me?
Yeah, I can answer that question.
Yeah,
So
please go ahead.
as of now, when you come in, you should get a negative RT-PCR before you come here, and you also will need to have a hard quarantine for 1 week. And after that, you can continue as usual. However, we may start requiring regular testing. Right now, we are not started that because the risk right now is low, but we may do it in future, especially if Omicron goes up. And if it is found that people are not vaccinated tend to fall ill more, then we will selectively test those who are not vaccinated. But it will be based on this, whatever scientific advice based on the circumstances.
Right. And in addition to that, I think I would just like to add one point that as soon as you turn 18 and get eligible for the vaccine, please take the vaccine.
We do have a vaccination center in IIT. If you're not yet 18, when you come here, as soon as you turn 18, you can register and take it on campus.
Yeah. The next question is, will the administration call students in batches after 26 December, or the students can arrive to campus on whichever date they want to come after 26 December to 28 January? So, yeah. Sridham, should I answer that?
You're frozen. Peter? There's a point. I think
There's some
They
network.
can arrive on whichever date. It's a fairly large, so can as per the convenience. The thing is that
Um,
I
So
think
we-
we lost her. I think maybe you can rephrase it, Professor Sudarshan.
yeah, I'll say what I think.
can we ask you to not book your tickets till you get the pre-arrival? Sorry,
I think you were a little, I think.
Can you hear
unstable
me?
Network. So maybe Professor. Now it's better.
Can
Would
you
like to start again, please? Can you please start from because people could not hear you.
lost,
No, I think
I think she's having some network issues.
Yeah. So essentially, to summarize, earlier we were giving specific date ranges for students to come when it was approved. However, this time we are not requiring that. We are giving a wide range of dates, and you can come anytime in that range after your coming in has been approved. So there are multiple steps. Hrishikesh, you may want to just summarize the steps.
Yes. So after you fill the consent form, your name gets added to a sheet which is monitored by the Hostel Affairs Council, and the Hostel Affairs Council sends the pre-arrival form. So for the UG Sophomores, the pre-arrival forms would be sent after 20th December, which is the deadline for filling in the consent form. And in the pre-arrival form, you have to fill in some basic details and also choose a date of arrival. So as mentioned earlier, the date of arrival is between 26 December to 28 January. So you can choose a date, any of the date from these available dates, but there is a constraint on which the Hostel Affairs Council operate, which is 100 students per day. So the room preparation can be done only for 100 students per day, and that's why whenever a date receives more than equal to 100 applications, the date gets automatically removed from the pre-arrival form. So you can choose your date accordingly with the condition that the date does not have more than 100 students who are coming to campus.
Hrishikesh,
yeah.
Can I just interrupt you on that? Earlier, we had a lot more restrictions when students come in.
Yes.
Right now, those restrictions will be much less. So I don't think we should restrict it to 100. We can increase it to much more. So we can update that.
Right. Okay.
So
Okay.
I
So
think,
you can choose whichever date you.
Rishikesh, I think what we do, we leave it to the convenience of the student and their parents because they will be coming from distant places. Okay, so let them choose a time, that window, what is convenient to them. Okay, and we'll try to manage whatever way they can come. Okay.
Essentially, you can book your tickets. Go ahead and book your tickets. Try not to all land up on the day before classes. That is often the popular day. So avoid that. So that when you arrive here, you will not be in a crowded thing to initial processing and so forth. So spread it out and come any day starting from the 26th, I think is the first date that you'll be able to.
Okay. Professor Sudarshan, can I just add
Yeah.
one point? Sorry, I think my network was having some issues last time.
Yeah.
So what I was trying to tell you was that this is a consent and liability form, which means that we are asking you to say that you are coming here voluntarily. And in case if you say no to that question, the form closes, which means that you haven't filled the consent form, in which case you should not come to campus. So that is the one check we would like to do before sending the pre-arrival form, which is why we request you to wait so that we can do that check. The other issue is that we also have certain health declarations, physical as well as mental. Earlier, we were taking care to ask those students to stay back, but now our doctor has advised that everybody can come. But in case of mental health concerns, she still suggests that we collect a fitness certificate from the student before allowing them to campus. We will not stop anybody, but we would like to follow the doctor's advice. So now, we can, for your convenience, you can yourself, since you know what you have filled, if there are any of these concerns, then I would request please wait to hear from us. If none of these exist and the form is clear, then you can use your wisdom and select any date as you've been told. So to that extent, if you can cooperate with us, that would help smoothen the process.
Yeah, I'm also seeing a lot of chats where parents are asking whether they will be provided any accommodation. So there will be no accommodation for parents. Essentially, parents can come and drop and try to go back on the same day itself. We do understand you may be traveling from far places, but because we don't have any accommodation in the hostel, your own wards will be 2 people in a room, there will be no space left out. So we would encourage that you may drop and leave back on the same day. Yeah, the students will have their cots in the room. Apart from that, in the student activity center, we are also going to provide mattress. Fellow will be there. Mattress, bucket, cup fellow will be there. The phone number will be given by the hall manager, including a cycle shop fellow will be there. So anybody wants to buy, just call the person. He will provide you in your room itself. So those arrangements will be also made for each and every students. The student need not to go to the purchase it. You will get it in your room by a simple phone call. Okay. Yeah. And the second thing is the list of your pair where you are going to stay. This will be shared in the UG notices by today evening or tomorrow morning, and the list will also go to all the hall managers by today evening. So you will know who is your the roommate.
Can I add one more point? Can I add one more point?
Add one point, maybe, to what Professor George Matthew said, that in case, this assumes that all of you are returning. In some cases, when I think somebody doesn't come, from that, so that then in that case, those vacant slots will be readjusted by appropriately repairing. Is that understood? Yeah.
Can I add one more point?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So the arrangement is done in such a way that there will be another one list of the students along with the hostel assignment allotment of the hostel. That list will be available at the main gate. If you are coming to the campus, so when you are entering into the main guest, you can ask the security, or you may be having the same thing. Where is the hostel? You go directly to the hostel, and then the hall manager and the student representative will be there. Hall manager will assign the rooms, your assigned rooms and the key. Along with that, one paper will also be given to you where the phone number of this, as Professor George said, the phone number for the mattress and other essentials will also be there. You have to go directly to your room and call that person. that person will supply all these materials to your room and you pay directly to that person. The student representative as well as the hostel general secretary, where the phone number is also available at the hostel. You can contact for any kind of problem. Yeah, go ahead, please, Rishikesh.
Yes, thank you for answering these questions. The next question is about what are the provisions for kids for laundry and are there machines and dryers available? So yes, there are washing machines and dryers available in each hostels and each floors as well. So and there, in some hostels there are some laundry rooms as well where we have a person who helps out with laundry. So it is variable for each hostel, but there are machines and dryers available. Next question is what are the necessary requirements for students when they reach campus? I think this has been already answered by Professor George that all the requirements, basic requirements like mattress, pillow, buckets and mugs would be provided to you. You just have to have a phone call to a person and they would get the necessary requirements to your hostel room. And can parents accompany the, yeah.
They need to carry, actually, they need to bring the bed sheet as well as the pillow cover. So that they have to bring it.
Yeah, so you have to bring also the blankets and rest of the essentials that you feel. But there are shops as well inside the campus where you can get all the daily essentials like soaps and shampoos and hand wash and sanitizers. So yeah.
Not booked your ticket.
Yeah, I think you should everybody should bring some sanitizers and others because you should use it, particularly when you are using a shared space, I think. Secondly, if you are coming from some local region or something, if you feel that you are more comfortable bringing your own mattress and all, I think you are most welcome to do that also. There is no restriction, depending on what is comfortable to you.
Yeah. And it's probably better if you arrive in the morning so that these things can be done during the day. If you arrive at night, then you might be stuck without some of these things. The shops will close at certain point. So please keep that in mind. Whatever we have said here, I think the students will share a more detailed list of things which are available and what you are expected to bring. So it will be shared by email also.
Yes. The next question being what hostels would be allocated to the sophomore students? Can you please mention the hostel numbers?
Yeah, so the sophomores are allotted hostel 2, 3. They are also allotted hostel 5 and 6, but 5 and 6, 5 is going to is under renovation, and 6 has a slight a bit of most of the rooms are not in a good condition. So hostel 5 and 6 students right now their identity is hostel 5 and 6, but they will be placed in hostel 16 in double occupancy, and this double occupancy in hostel 16 is a proper double occupancy room. So hostel 5 and 6 allotted students will stay in hostel 16 and the females will stay in hostel 15A or C wing. Okay, and hostel 9 also. So these are basically the 5 hostels wherein the sophomores will stay. We already have about 500 students in the campus. They are staying in hostel 15.
Right. Next question is if we were to take 1 or 2 days to collect and buy all the essentials and our luggage after coming to campus, will we be allowed to start quarantine after 1 or 2 days?
No, that defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
So note that if you're doing soft quarantine, we are actually allowing you to go out of your room and make some of these purchases. It's just that you should not eat in the mess or attend classes and so on where there is a higher risk of interaction with others. But going to the shop is not an issue. However, if you are not vaccinated and you need to be in hard quarantine, then of course it's different. Then you should not be going out of your room except to collect your food or use the bathroom. In that case, we hope there will not be too many such students, but please coordinate with the student representatives who will help you by making the, of course, as Mr. Kundu said, the phone number is there, things will be delivered to your room. So that part should be taken care of. But anyway, the students are there to help you in case you're in hard.
Right. The next question is in which mode the labs would be conducted, online or offline?
Yeah, so that the instructors will let you know. In specifically for second year students, since we are not mandating that you come to campus, there are certain options which have been given. So if a department intends to conduct the lab in person, and if someone does not come back, then you'll be given the option of taking the lab next semester or next year, whenever it is. But that is being left to the department, so your individual department will tell you what is good. Some departments do not have a physical lab. Some may have it. That's up to them. It depends on the needs of the specific lab.
Right. The next question is about the use of the library. So the student mentions that if there are, in case we have the need to have 3 students in a room, how can the students concentrate on their study? And so it's about, will you then allow the use of library? I think we are already allowing the use of library.
We have a reading room in the library, but given if more students are packed per room and more facilities are required, right now we even opened up for some time at least. We had opened up the classrooms for in the evening, night times for students to go and study. So these things we can do depending on the needs of students. We can make sure that the congestion in the hostel will not affect your studies.
Yes. The next question is, will the students be allowed to travel home in case of illness or on holidays?
So tackling illness first. If you're sick, you probably shouldn't be traveling. You should go to a hospital and they will advise you on what to do. If you have fever, for example, the last thing you want to do is travel. Okay, so don't do that. Follow the advice of our doctors. They are there for you. The other part, traveling home. We have always allowed students to travel home. We've never said you cannot travel. But when you come back, there may be certain quarantine requirements. In particular, right now, the quarantine requirement is soft quarantine in your own room. Just like when you first come, the same thing will apply if you go home in between and come back. When there were more cases, we actually required a hard quarantine, which means you should be in your room, you shouldn't go out. Okay, so depending on the COVID caseload, these rules may change.
Yes. The next question is, if a student is fully vaccinated, in this case, is RT-PCR negative report required?
No, we are not requiring it. Right?
Actually, we are
Maharashtra-
following the same rule. Either fully vaccinated or one single vaccinated with RT-PCR.
Right. The next question is, are the cycles to be purchased or rental facility is available inside the campus?
Both facilities are there, including we have a electrical chargeable cycles also. So all facilities are available. Whatever the student wants to choose, they can do it.
So that is a pay-as-you-go model. I think you can subscribe, and then some of them are available.
Yeah.
But many students also prefer their own cycle. Okay, that's yes. But I saw somewhere that there is a electric cycle or something. So normally we don't allow any student to have a power-driven vehicle. Okay, as of now, we do not do that.
Except if you're handicapped. That's only
unless somebody really physically needs it because of medical reasons. Yes.
Right. The next thing is, I need to take second dose of vaccination on 20th December. Will I be allowed to come back and stay home for a few days if I decide to come to campus on 26th December? So
you can take, I think you can take the vaccine right here in the campus if it is if it is Covishield, then I think that is allowed in our campus. If it is Covaxin, you may have to go outside and take it.
yeah, maybe instead of that, just take the vaccine and wait for a few days and then come back to campus.
Coming back on 26th, going back again on 27th and taking the vaccine on 28th is not advisable. Better to take the vaccine and then come back.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, so this is an interesting question. Doubly vaccinated students will be made to stay only with doubly vaccinated students. This is the question.
See, the pairing has been already done, so we do not know the vaccination status. So basically, that cannot be guaranteed. So, we hope that all of you are doubly vaccinated as a matter of fact. But, and that's why, you still have time. I think if you follow that, I think try to get vaccinated, at least get one if you have not done anything at all, because that is safe for not only you or your, the son or daughter, but also for the neighbors also, those who would be there in the campus, so for the rest of it.
Yeah. The next question is, if the roommate is having COVID symptoms, where would the counterpart stay?
We would provide, we've kept some rooms aside for such cases.
Actually, yeah.
So maybe we could say that, remember that by the time the person gets detected, so we also have a COVID tracing team. Okay, we must also tell you that this has been very meticulously doing all the tracing. So it's not only the person who got it, got infected, but it definitely means that we should go back and find out who are the others who have been in the neighborhood. And in these contracts, in that particular case, we may require the other person also to do the quarantine. I think that's basically the protocol. And the protocol evolves with time because depending on what the state, I think mandates will follow the similar thing. But normally our mandate is little stronger than the, I would say the corresponding Mumbai corporation, because naturally we are a residential campus. We have to follow strict rules inside.
Right. Going on to the next question, so there have been some similar questions about can parents accompany their wards to the campus or the hostel room for the first time, and a very specific question that can parents go to students' room on the first day if they are soft quarantine?
Parents can come with the students, that's not an issue. Parents should not be staying in the hostel.
So we understand that you would like to go and see, I think since you are coming from far off, if you are, so please do, but follow all the COVID protocols. I think then should be okay. And we assume that all of you also, the parents who are coming, they should also be doubly vaccinated. If you are not, there is then also, supposing you are not, then it creates a problem. Please understand that, it is a common space and the separation and the distancing is not so much possible. So the parents should also ensure that they are also fully vaccinated if you want to go to their room and follow all the protocols. Then I think there is no issue.
And note that soft quarantine means that parents cannot eat in the mess either. Neither the students will just come in, nor the parents can eat in the mess. There will be arrangements for food to be either taken out or delivered to the room. And so you have to eat in the room.
Right. The next question is, what are the items which are available in the room and what are the items that the student has to arrange? I think this has been earlier answered, but we would be floating an FAQ soon on the student notices, where it would have all the answers to some basic questions that are regarding the arrival and what are the requirements in the hostel and what are the things that you need to bring and what are the things that are available inside campus that you can buy. So please give us a couple of days. We would share a FAQ on student notices, which would have the answers to some frequently asked questions. Yeah. Just a minute. Does room allocation depend on the date of the arrival? So I don't think that depends on the date of the arrival.
Rishikesh, can I just answer this once and for all?
Yes.
Sorry. So
Yes.
room allocation is the prerogative of Associate Dean of Student Affairs. He does this considering various parameters and in the best interest of students. There are many, many things that he considers and goes by his experience. So please just trust in his wisdom and go to the room that you are allotted with the roommate that you are allotted. That's my short answer.
Right.
Let me also answer one of the questions that many people have asked in the chat, which is about 3 students to a room. So we have looked at how many people can actually fit in the room, how many beds. Each one will get a bed. Again, 3 per double room. we may not do it right now because we have not yet called the PG first year back to campus. And the UG first year, of course, also have not been called to campus. So because of that, we have a little bit of slack right now. So we may not do that, but we know very well that at some point, we will need to do it. So you should be prepared for it. Even if right now you have a proper double room with 2 beds, in future you may get a 3rd bed in. So reallocation may happen. Whatever allocation is done now should be viewed as temporary. As we get geared up to get more of the batches back, things may change.
Right. The next question is it suggested to arrive a couple of days before the semester starts based on any formality to be done in campus, or we can arrive post 3rd January comfortably too?
We are giving them a wide range of date. If you look at it, 26th to 20th. So while the semester is starting from around 1st January. So if you look at it, so by the time, if some of you, when you will be coming, by the time semester is already started. So we are not insisting that we know that, you have to plan your, travel and others. And sometimes during the holidays, it's difficult to get even tickets. So with that in view, so we are flexible. And in terms of whenever, if you are coming little late, you can attend your lectures through online mode so that you will not miss out. Okay, so so kindly ensure that even if you come late, do follow all your courses like you have been doing for the last 1 year. You have already done that. 1.5 year, I would say.
One more request, if you're going to miss a couple of lectures because you're traveling during working days, then please inform your instructors prior to travel.
Right. Next thing is, what are the official documents we need to bring with us? Like during the last orientation, we were told to bring some documents to submit in the academic office.
I think you have to see that. See, but there are certain
So
certificate
we'll add this to the FAQ. I'm guessing the document verification is already done. You are already here, you've spent a year. But if there is still something, we'll add it to the FAQ. I know that the hospital insists on vaccination records because after you come, you'll go to the hospital for the first time and a file has to be made. So we'll add all of that as well to the FAQ.
Let me add one more point is that hospital also insists that MMR vaccine should be completed before coming over here. If it is not, then if there is a large number of students, then also our hospital will also arrange for MMR vaccine.
Right. Again, an interesting question. Are Amazon deliveries allowed to the respective hostels?
You can answer this question.
Yeah, so as mentioned that in hard quarantine, you're not allowed to order anything, but in soft quarantine, you are allowed to order food from Swiggy, Zomato, or even order from Amazon. And the delivery guy knows that you're not allowed to come down, so they just put it in the lift and you can take it from the lift. So the process is pretty much sorted. You just have to come back to campus and you would know everything after your, like, these are very small things about deliveries. And so in hard quarantine you're not allowed to order anything, but in soft quarantine you are. So yeah, I think that answers the question. Can we come on Saturday or Sunday or morning or evening timings? So I suggested try to come during the day because there are certain things which needs to be bought from the campus, and the hall manager office is open till 5:30 p.m. generally on Saturdays as well. So try to come before 5:30 p.m. so that you also get some time to acquaint yourself with the room, and if you need anything, you can buy it.
The rooms are
I see a
provided.
question.
Right?
I see. Sorry, Sudarshan, please go ahead.
So the rooms are provided with a bed for sure, a desk, but if certain rooms may not be able to have 2 desks, there may be just 1 desk for 2 people. And there is generally a cupboard. The size of the cupboard varies depending on the hostel and so on. So these are things which IIT will provide. The fan is provided, lights are provided. there's mosquito netting in the room to keep you safe from mosquitoes, etc.
Most of the hostels have LAN connection. We don't have a Wi-Fi.
Yeah. So you may want to get one Wi-Fi router if you want to, use that. If two of you share a Wi-Fi router, if you're in a room, that will also work.
I think I see a question, can I bring my sibling or something who is under 18? So my request is that, please don't, if you can, because, they will not be vaccinated. And then then will not be allowed, they would be hard quarantined or something, like this. So you should please avoid. If the parents so come with a minimum number of people, because we don't want the campus to be overburdened with too many outsiders. Okay, so whoever is required to come, please come, but don't bring people who are not vaccinated. At least I think that's our request.
And you're going to be here for 2.5 years more, so your siblings will have enough opportunities to come and visit you in future. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Yes. The next question is, are gym and sports facilities available now?
I think you should answer.
Yeah. So basically, we have a portal for like there are certain COVID guidelines which we need to take care of while using indoor sports facilities, which also includes gym. So for all the indoor sports facilities which have a limited occupancy, we have portals which are made by the sports council, where a student has to book a slot for 1 hour to use the gym facilities or the badminton court or the basketball court. And the Gymkhana ground has also been opened up, but again, all the COVID related guidelines and mask rules have to be followed while you're using these common facilities.
And the hostels also have their own gyms. Again,
Yeah.
the rules for avoiding overcrowding. And the other thing is, in the gyms so far, we have not allowed aerobic equipment by and large, because then we believe that the risk of transmission is more. This may change in future as depending on the risk perception. But outdoors exercise is not an issue. Even if you're in soft quarantine, you are allowed to go out and walk around, run, whatever. But please wear your mask. Even if whatever you're doing, you're supposed to be wearing your mask. Wear a thin mask if you want. Don't wear an N95 mask when you're jogging. That's a bad idea. Okay, but going without mask is not allowed.
Yes. Next question is, when are the classes going to start in offline mode compulsory for all?
See, this is as per all such things are decided by the academic senate of the institute. So we have been doing it as of now for the current semester based on the, what is the ground realities in Mumbai. It has been decided that it will go on a hybrid mode, and the professor will decide whether there will be like if it is a large classroom and separation is not possible, so it could be an online mode. Okay, but there would be, as Professor Sudarshan said, there would be a 1 hour at least per week of physical interaction, so that you get to see your professor, you can clear your doubts, things like this. But other than that, if it is a smaller classes, sometimes it may be possible that it could be like a fully physical. So all of them, we are leaving it up to depending on the situation. Okay, so your professor would inform you.
Many people are asking, can parents see the room on Avail? So Hrishikesh, you want to answer that?
Yeah, so I think you have answered already, but the parents can just visit the room if they are vaccinated, and they cannot stay in the hostels, but they can just visit the room and help the students with all the arrangement of the rooms, but they have to leave the hostel room before say 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. so that the security will ensure that you are not allowed to stay in the rooms which have been assigned to the students. And also parents and students who are under soft quarantine are not allowed to enter the mess when they visit the hostels. So you can just help with the arrangements, but you cannot stay in the hostel rooms.
And note that people are also asking if the mothers can visit boys' hostel and probably fathers the girls' hostel. So
Yeah, so Professor Kundu, would you like to answer that?
So, no. Right now we have actually opened it, but this restriction is only up to 10 p.m. So after that they cannot visit. But before that they can go. Right now we have opened it. So far we have not opened the visitors to general hostels. But for these hostels, since the parents will be coming and looking after their child just for arrangement, then we can open it only up to 8 or 9 p.m. But in general, visitors are still not allowed. The visitors means that outside visitors are still not allowed to go to any hostel and stay in the hostel room, normal hostel room.
Yes. The next thing is the 2 or 3 people have been asking that can they buy e-bikes or electric vehicles instead of cycles. So I don't think that's allowed. No power-based vehicles or cycles are allowed inside the institute unless you have some health issues or on a need-to-need basis. Dean SA would be the approving authority in such cases. Next question is if the student is coming from a local area, still soft quarantine is required. Yes, regardless of the area that you're coming from, for the first time, a 7-day soft quarantine is required for a doubly vaccinated student, and also students who have 1 vaccine and 1 negative RT-PCR report. Next question is, can we install additional accessories such as shelves at our own expense?
I think I suggest that you come here, take a look at it, okay? Because it's some of them are small rooms where we're putting 2 people, okay? And in that case, you may not have sufficient space. But I tell you that even though the parents and others sometimes they do complain that it is not really, it is rooms are not big enough for accommodate 2 people. But normally students don't complain because they know that this is adjusted. They make good friends and they know that how to live together. So I think if something is very urgent, then of course you should buy it for your kid. If not, then I would suggest that defer it to see, because nowadays many things you can order through Amazon or certain other things it can be delivered. But don't bring too many things which may not fit into your room. I think please avoid that.
I may add one more thing is that any electrical appliances and cooking is not allowed in the hostel room. So don't buy anything like any electrical appliances and send it to your with your kids. Those will not be allowed in the
I
hostel
think
room.
you are allowed only like laptop chargers, others, typical mobile phones. Those are the key thing that you should do that. Okay, maybe a table lamp if you want something. Those are okay for you.
Yes. Next thing is, if we have anything to clarify at a later date, who should be our single point of contact? So you can reach out to either me or the General Secretary of Hostel Affairs. You can see our emails on student notices, and you can reach out to us on our email IDs or our phone numbers, which are available. And we'll try to help you out with all the queries that you have. Will it be compulsory for students to install and use the Arogya Setu app for contact tracing?
No. I think we have that. We have our own ways of contact tracing inside, right? So
Yes.
you will come to know once you come here. This is only Arogya Setu is that when you come, if the airports and others, railways, they want, then of course you must follow their rule.
And if you are tested for COVID, you're required to install Arogya.
Yes.
So certain cases it's required. Otherwise,
Yes. Next question is, students who have their homes in Mumbai itself, can they visit home on weekends or holidays? Are there any permissions required for the same? And are there any strict hostel timings?
so in the past, we did not, and we had a problem. Right now, we are allowed. But we do require you to make an entry in an online portal before you go, so that we track that you have gone home. And in certain cases, you're also required to do soft quarantine after you come back. So those rules will be shared later with you. But we are not preventing students from going home in the week. anymore. Although if we need to create a bubble again, if cases go, that may happen.
Yeah, there is a question about can there be some info shared about hostel and mess fees when we'll be asked to pay that? So in the pre-arrival form that you would be filling, you're supposed to add a transaction ID of the payment that you have made to the hostel warden. So all the details about the hostel and mess fees would be told to you when the pre-arrival form is sent to you. So it is a very longish email which has all the details on how and how much amount to pay for hostel and mess fees. So you would get all the details in the pre-arrival email that you would receive by the rebooting email address.
Many people are asking about how long this hostel room crunch will continue.
Yeah.
So right now we are having the one hostel under construction, H17, which can accommodate 1,100 students. But given that first year students are not yet back, that hostel will be equivalent or not even capable of handling all the first year duties when they come. So essentially what I'm saying is that this crunch is going to continue. Now, there are several new hostels which are under various stages of execution. There's a H19 which is now waiting for municipal clearance. Once that is done, it will be tendered out. The design and all that is complete. There is a H7, 8, 21 combined thing, which is the basic design is done, and again some other detailed design decisions are being made and go out for municipal approval and tendering in the next few months. And then there's one more hostel to replace old Hostel 4, which is at a somewhat earlier stage. But the bottom line is none of these are going to get ready for at least 2.5 years, maybe more, depending on the construction time. So in your time at IIT Bombay, you cannot expect to see the crunch reduce, although you will get an individual room in your family. Shared rooms will be up to 30.
As of now, it's up to third year. It will be compulsorily paired up.
Great. The next question was about usage of laboratory facilities. So the student is asking that if they can use the lab facilities which are available on campus.
Of course, see, I tell you that now, not only that, there are clubs and others which are, they have their own ways of doing it. There are makers, the Tinkerers Lab. These are all now open, and I think once they come, they will have the full access.
Yes.
Right.
And several people are again asking about booking tickets. Just to repeat what was said before, in the time frame which was given December 26th to January 20th, was it?
Yes,
In that
Jan
time,
20th.
you can book a ticket anytime. That's up to you. Okay? But before you come, you have to make sure you've got the consent form submitted and permission granted from IIT side, which should happen normally. That should be no issue. But given that tickets may be hard to book, go ahead and book it. There's no need to wait for doing that.
The next question is, can a student leave at any time for online classes from home if he or she does not feel comfortable at campus?
Yeah,
Yes.
but again, I think it should be, because your coming here is voluntary, so your going back is also voluntary. But it should not happen that you should just go back and to and fro. Then once you leave, saying that, okay, then basically, you have to again apply to come back in case you do want to come back. Okay. So we don't encourage to go for shuttling like this, but if you have to go, sure, I think you are allowed.
Yes. Next question is a basic question. Can we arrive on a Sunday? So yes, you can arrive on a Sunday as well.
Try to come during the daytime. That's all. I think we are saying that so that your needs can be taken care of.
Right. And also there have been a couple of questions about room cleaning and when the first time go to the room. So every time you, like the first time the room would be assigned to you, it would be sanitized, cleaned, and then assigned to you. So you don't have to worry about the cleanliness of the room. It has been thoroughly cleaned before it is allotted to you. And the next question is about who cleans the room on a frequent basis. So we have a PHO system in IIT Bombay, where there are PHO staff who cleans the room on a regular basis, and the maintenance council of the hostel is responsible for the frequent cleaning and scheduling of the room cleaning. So you can just reach out to the maintenance counselor or the maintenance secretary of your hostel to, in case you want to get your room cleaned on an ad hoc basis.
Or you can clean your room yourself also on a daily basis. Okay, sweepers are not going to clean it on a
Yes.
daily basis.
Ideally, once you're in the room, it is your room, you have to clean it. Okay. And I see a question. I think another thing is that many of the people who say that we are from Mumbai and you want to visit on a regular basis on weekends and others, I would say that normally try to avoid this, okay, if you can, because we are not allowing all the people to come in from outside us. We are trying to be little bit bubble still remaining in our system, so that the safety of the students are important. So if you have to come, then definitely you are allowed, okay, from Mumbai, but please avoid as much as you can.
So that was an answer to the question which said, can you stay in your home in Mumbai and commute to campus? Right?
No, somebody says the parents want to come or something to meet the students.
Oh, parents coming into campus.
Yeah.
No, that right now we are not allowing visitors.
Correct. That's what I said. Unless there is an emergency or something, please take permission from the appropriate body, and then only you can come.
Right.
So the electrical kettle and electrical steamers are allowed in the students' room. That's a small thing that's allowed. Because there's a lot of questions.
Even an iron is allowed, right?
Yes, iron is small one. No induction heaters are allowed. That requires a permission. Okay.
Yeah.
No
Because
induction heater, no fridge also. No small fridge
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah.
Nothing is allowed.
Because these electrical equipments require different kind of sockets which are not available inside our hostels, so
Yes.
you're not allowed to bring these.
5 amp maximum.
I think maximum limit is about 5 amp. Okay, so whatever the 5 amp is probably is okay, but not something like you don't set up like bring AC or air conditioner or something. No, it's not possible.
Right. I think we have answered this already, but there's a question about, can parents avail the mess facility on the day of the arrival with their child? No, they cannot. So when you are in the soft quarantine, you are not allowed to enter the mess, and when your parents also come to drop you, they are not allowed to enter the mess because of the
in general, we are not allowing normal cases. In normal hostel also, we are not allowing outsiders to go to the mess. That is
So
also
we have actually a kind of a restaurant inside, okay, which is called Gulmohar. So there are some other options available. So I think you can take it. So that should be possible.
right. Also, there is a question about, for people who are not vaccinated at all, is 72-hour negative RT-PCR report required? Yes, it is. Even if you have to do a hard quarantine, a negative RT-PCR report is mandatory. There's a question about the bank, open account in a bank. So you can, whenever you're back to campus, you can just visit one of the two banks, which is SBI or Canara Bank inside IIT campus, and you can just, if you are above 18 and you have a PAN card, you can just go to them and they'll help you out with all the necessary procedures regarding opening an account.
These days, anyway, you can open an account in your home and use it here.
Yeah.
It is not an essential requirement anymore to open an account locally.
Yeah. Rishikesh, you can just talk about a little bit about the Insti app where they can get all the information once they come over.
Yes. So basically, there is an app called Insti app, which you can find on both Android's Play Store and Apple's App Store. You can just install it, and it has a lot of information about the clubs inside IIT Bombay, and also the questions that you have been asking about what are the point of contacts for different issues that you face. There's also mess menu and the internship and placement blog, which is available on Insti app. I think during your orientation last year, there was a proper session. A 5-minute window was given to Insti app introduction. So many of you have been already using it, maybe. But just to reiterate, in the FAQ, we'll add the link to the video which explains a bit more in detail about what are the things which are included in the Insti app. So it is very useful in terms of looking out for mess menu or getting contacts for different student bodies. So you can just download the app from either App Store for Apple users and Play Store for Android users. Where can we avail cellular service facilities? Like Professor Kundu or Professor George, maybe can you answer this question about cellular
What
service
is the question?
facilities?
What is
Cellular
cellular?
service, yeah.
I didn't
I
get
think
the
most
question.
of you have the phone. I think if it is, like recharge and all, you can do online. Most students, everybody nowadays, they do online. But if you don't have it, I think it's better to get it there also. But SIM cards are available. I think you can buy it. But nowadays, what happens because of checking and all others and other, it becomes a little laborious process. So if you can do it before coming, because now I think most of you have it nowadays. So it's better to have it.
So, just to add to it, there is a local vendor from the Vodafone who comes to the institute and set up open a desk for them. So you can go there and have the SIM card. Otherwise, also there are contacts. You can call them. They come over here in the campus, verify all the things, and you will get the SIM card right there. That is also possible.
And moreover, most of the hostels have a general stores. Okay, so they also keep the SIM card with them. So you can just go there and buy. You need not to go out of the campus also.
Right. There's also a question about can we come late night around 2 a.m. So it's highly not recommended to come around 2 a.m. But under very unforeseen circumstances, the campus is the main gate is open 24/7. But it is highly recommended to come and during the daytime because of the specified reasons about availing the rest of the facilities and setting up the room.
If you arrive early in the morning, then that might be okay.
Yeah.
Can we get a do's and don'ts or a checklist which will help get more prepared for arrival? Yes, we would be sharing a FAQ in the couple of days, which would have some information about the basic questions which are asked. Again, this question is again, can father accompany daughter to the hostel on the first day of arrival to help out with room arrangements? Yes, similar to how a mother can accommodate in a boys hostel, a father can accompany, but it has to be before 10 p.m. So yeah, I think this question is answered already. Can we get hostel room allocation list? Yes, it would be shared on UG student notices by Associate Dean SA in by tonight or tomorrow morning. And when will we get the pre-arrival form? So as mentioned earlier by Professor Pant, it would be after 20th December. So I think we are officially done with all the questions.
I replied to most of the questions now. Many of them are near repeat and others. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we can close it because it's 1.5 hours now.
Yes. One last question about ID card. So you would receive proper official emails about when and how your ID card would be issued to you. It is done by the security office, and General Secretary of Hostel Affairs would be coordinating this drive, and you would receive your ID card very shortly after you are back to campus. Right. One last question.
Our exam is going to be offline for this semester. As of now, yes, that's the plan. Okay, so we'll see as the situation evolves.
Right. So yeah, I think we are done with almost all of the questions.
Okay. I don't know what this means. Are we allowed, the parents allowed to stay in the campus after 1 month? I mean, why should the parents be staying here? Okay, so I mean, you are welcome to at some point to come and visit when situation improves. Okay, but
So,
yeah,
so I thought the students were eager to come to campus, and I thought the parents also were eager to send the kids to campus. I think, let's just try staying away from each other for a short amount of time. So,
of course, you can bring your bicycle and others if there's no issue. I think if you have one, you can definitely bring it, no issue. Okay. And if you are, some people are looking for hotels or somewhere near the campus, I think if you look at it in Hiranandani and many other areas, Ghatkopar areas, if you go for search for that, there are hostels of, the different types of hotels of different, price range. So please look at maybe, Make My Trip or book, all these things. You will be able to get that. Okay, so thank you so much, all of you. We really appreciate that you took your time and joined us. Let me say that we are as keen to get you here in the campus as you are, in terms of coming to the campus. But one particular thing I must tell you, that no matter whether you decide to come or not, it's your completely voluntary. Again, it's up to you. It's your choice. And that's what I think Professor Pant has said, that your consent is very much required. And we want that once you are here, you must follow the discipline. If it is there, I think you will have a wonderful, I think, stay in the campus, enjoy the ambience, and that's what probably will help you in terms of creating a good peer group, which is why IIT Bombay is so, well known outside, that it's not just the ambience in the class, but it's beyond that. We know a lot of good camaraderie among students, others, their leadership roles. And I'm sure that all your kids, whoever come here, they will also be like the IITian of any of the other years, not just like the COVID time. So they will also be just like any other year. So I wish all of you who would be coming, and of course, even if you don't come here, that's also perfectly fine. All the best, okay, so that you have a very, very successful academic journey through IIT Bombay. Thank you and good night.
And
You want to
once
add
you
something?
come over, I want to add one more thing, is that once you come over here, we'll be arranging several orientations where you come to know many, many things over here. Right now you are at home, but when you come over here, you get to know everything, and the student representatives will help you out for everything. So don't worry about all these things. There will be
Okay,
orientation.
Yeah, okay, Professor Sudarshan, you have anything to say? Add?
Sudarshan?
Yeah, no, I just want to thank everyone for joining, and also thank the faculty and student representatives for sparing the time to come today. And final note to the parents, don't worry about your kids. They will be well taken care of over here. There are lots of friends who they may already have or will make. So don't get stressed about it. Let your students enjoy their stay in the hostel if they come. If for whatever reasons you decide not to send your children here, let that be a joint decision with the children. If the children are very keen to come, maybe you should let them come. But of course, in the end, it's a family decision.
Okay. Rishikesh, with that, I think you can close it. Thank you so much, all of you,
Thank you
and
again.
have a wonderful evening.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.